Angling is a series of choices from an infinite number of options, some simple, like what's your target species, to the complexities of understanding fish location on a seasonal basis. Then there's the myriad of presentation options. It's as mental of a game as physical. Each challenge is different, but the basic process remains the same. For angling is like solving a living, breathing puzzle. And to see the big picture, you need the fishing edge.
Look at the size of that thing.
Wow.
Look at the size of that pike. Oh. There we go. Oh, yep, yep. Yep, there we go. Hooked up. Oh, crushed it. It's not fair. It's really not fair. Jerry, I'm running out of patience. He's fishing behind me and he's throwing the go-to bait. Now I've got a lot of hours today, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 rods rigged with different kind of baits, but 2 or 3 more fish, and I gotta go. I gotta put a jerk on. Okay, here's the deal. Jeremy and I are up on a lake that we haven't been on for a number of years. We fished it before. We know the lake pretty well. According to my Humminbird, it's 8:45 a.m. Water temperature is 49.4. I was hoping for it to be maybe a little bit warmer. And obviously, it's early in the season, early in the year. This lake has got a good population of smallmouth, a good population of largemouth, some pretty darn nice walleyes loaded with northerns, and we're going to be up here for 3 days. We're going to get a feel of the lake today and kind of mix it up a little bit. You know, with this water temperature like this, we're probably the smartest thing to do would be to start on the smallmouths. They're not too shy, and let the sun cook the water up and go for some largies a little later.
First time you hit the water, it's always nice to start with something you're confident in. And smallmouth seem to be not overly affected by cold fronts, cold weather in the spring. They really seem to cooperate. And this happens to be one of my confidence baits. Go-to, it's the orange number 10 X-Wrap. I love it. So we're gonna go bounce around, hit some points that have had fish in the past, and if the fish are up, they're gonna bite this. We have a high level of confidence we're gonna get bit on this, and as the day progresses, we'll just get a feel for what types of habitat the fish are using, and hopefully by noon, we'll really have it dialed in, and as the sun gets warmer, I bet the fish are gonna go nuts. I'm pumped about today. This is gonna be a good time.
Bass in the fishing world. It's a very broad term. If you're from New England and live on the coast, you probably mean striped bass. On the other hand, if you live down in the Amazon basin, you could mean peacock bass. If you're from Alabama, you might mean spotted bass or even white bass. Same surname, different critters. In Florida, chances are you're talking about big old black bass. In Michigan or New York, the word bass could refer either to largemouth or smallmouth. Obviously, there's a lot of crossover in the varieties of fish called bass across the continent. Today, we're focusing on largemouth and smallmouth bass. Many watersheds support these two species, and some in abundance of both varieties. The trick to consistently catch blacks or browns out of the same body of water is understanding the fine points of the different fish's personalities. That's right, they got a different personality. Each species has its own particular likes and dislikes. Call it attitude, for lack of a better term. And the better you understand the attitudes of each, the better your bite will be.
There we go. Got him that time. Well, how's that for a first spot? Oh, and it's a big brown. Oh. I know, I almost do feel guilty. Al's trying a new hooking system with a good bait, and I just go to something easy. I just picked something easy. Oh man, and it's a tank. It is a horse. A horse, of course. Huh? That's a good way to start out with a big smallmouth. But I mean, here's the deal. Look, it's on a point. We learned something. There's definitely brown bass on points. In the cast before that, I missed felt like a really nice fish. So. There we go. Another one, nice fish too. Oh, I really enjoy that. Long pauses, which isn't surprising really in the morning like this. Look at that. Oh, it's another nice fish. Huh?
I'm still throwing for a large.
It is good though to have a little confidence bait going, and Al's experimenting with other presentations, but it's a good tell if fish are here or they're not here. That's for darn sure. Man, oh man, look at the size of that brown bass. He happened to hit it on that front hook. Look at that, huh? So the combo I'm using for fishing this X-Wrap right now is this Quantum XO 6'9" medium fast action rod, and I've got a 2500 size reel on here. I like that bigger reel for this presentation because I'm throwing a lot of slack in the presentation, and I want to be able to pick up that slack really quick. The other thing is this is Suffix 832. It's the bright yellow line, and the reason I like that bright yellow line is because the bait has slack in it. A lot of the times if a fish grabs it, I can see the line jump really easily and I can reel down and get them. But with that braid, I'm always fishing with a really light drag. In fact, sometimes when I'm jerking the bait, I can hear the drag slip a little bit, and that'll really just improve your odds of hooking and holding the fish with the really light drag. You don't need to set the hook with this braided line if one hits it. You don't need to just reel back and drill them. It's pretty much get tight on them and they're hooked. It's amazing how effective that system is for hooking brown bass.
You know, it's unbelievable how many fish you could sit on, and if you're fishing them wrong, not catch them. And when that water temperature is anywhere from 42 to about 52, and you've got smallmouth in that lake, that X-Wrap, there is not a better bait you could possibly throw. We've done this all over the country. It's like magic. You know, I'm fishing in front of Jer. I'm working with 6 different baits. If I didn't know no better, I'd say something really dumb, like the fish ain't biting. But every 2 minutes I turn around and he's setting the hook behind me. But I'm a patient man. I'm going through a few other lures here to try to figure out these big largemouth, but my patience is slowly waning.
There's some simple facts on natural lakes like we're fishing today that separate a largemouth from a smallmouth. First off, smallmouth are not nearly as negatively affected by unstable weather. Simply put, smallies don't appear to care that much about a weather change, especially in spring. Largemouth bass, on the other hand, if the weather goes south, they can be knocked for a loop. The so-called black bass is more temperamental when it comes to cool or cold water, and it takes them longer to recover from a cold front. Secondly, largemouth are considered more of a cover-oriented fish. They prefer being in weeds or wood if given the opportunity. Smallmouths will use cover as well, but they tend to prefer sparse weeds and rocks over thick weeds and tangled wood. Thirdly, smallmouths have an overall general preference for slightly cooler water than a largemouth and tend to be found in areas of the lake that fit that profile. Fourth, there's a timing difference in their spawning cycle. Smallmouth will come into shallows well before the largemouth and are generally more aggressive earlier. Fifth, smallmouth are more abundant and operate better in clear water environments. Largemouth, on the other hand, are more abundant and operate better in darker, dingy water. Again, I would like to stress that we're talking about largemouth and smallmouth in natural lakes. When it comes to rivers or reservoirs, that's a whole other planet with a whole different set of rules.
There we go. It's not fair. It's really not fair. It's almost mean. It's almost mean to the fish to throw this thing. You just can't believe it. I mean, you catch them until your arms are tired. Ooh. He says, I'm ready for summer. I'll do some jumping for you. Perfect. Perfect, perfect.
You know, you would think he's get tired of jerk baiting his smallmouth behind me, but that ain't gonna happen. He'll be throwing that sucker for the 3 days that we're here, just catching fish after fish after fish after fish.
Really? You're seriously just gonna leave me in here?
Yeah, I'm fishing deep today, Ike.
Are you kidding me? These are perfect conditions for pulling big bass out of heavy cover.
Yeah?
Heck yeah! Try one of these weedless wacky jigs.
All right, yeah.
It has an offset hook and stainless steel weed guard. Whoa! Oh,
Sorry, Ike.
flip it in there, and its wacky action will have you pulling out one fat bass after another. Please!
I can't say anything.
Why take chances with your engines? Protect them from neglect, wear, and tear the easy way. With Seafoam Motor Treatment. Seafoam helps to maintain top engine performance by removing harmful deposit buildup from your engine and fuel system. Control moisture in gas and diesel. Stabilize fuel for up to 2 years. And lubricate your engines to start easier, run cooler, and last longer. Trust all your engines to Seafoam Motor Treatment, the choice of mechanics for over 70 years.
In fishing, nothing beats the confidence and enjoyment that comes with using the best equipment. There's a reason why generations of professional anglers, guides, and camp operators make Lund their boat of choice. They stand up to the elements and the repeated use that hardcore anglers put them through, season after season. They're guide-tested, wilderness-proven. Isn't it time for you to experience the Lund difference?
We tried beating it senseless, bending it in half, and punishing it with extreme temps, corrosive salt water, and blistering UV rays. And all Talon did was ask for more. So we wanted to know what Talon's breaking point really was. We'll let you know if we ever find it. Talon, born tough, tested tougher.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
I got him that time. There's some good ones on this point here. These are good fish. Nothing like them. Here's the plan. Jeremy was good to me. He says, we'll give you a break. You go catch a few smallmouth. He's going to put the jig on in the back. And I get to catch a couple of these little piggies. I know that he's going to bounce that jig out on some of these spots in this 49-degree weather. Whoa. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to set the hook, not only on big browns like this. He's going to go, whoa, it's a big greenie. And it's going to be about a 5 or 6 pounder. In the meantime, I get to warm up on a couple of brown bass.
Okay, what have we learned so far about largemouth and smallmouth that live in the same waterway? Well, they're cousins, but with very different attitudes. Some like soft weeds and wood over rock and sparse weeds. Some don't care if the water temperature drops dramatically, while the other will recoil with dislike. So with this knowledge, let's take a look at the lake we're fishing and some potential location options. Looking at a lake map, we quickly see that there's quite a few shallow bays. These usually are prime locales to start your largemouth bass search. These bays are the first to warm up in the spring and likely have soft weed and wood cover, just the kind of stuff largemouth are drawn to in the spring. When we look out toward the main lake, we see that there are large rock and boulder points. These are likely sites for the first places that smallmouth bass will show up as they're coming out of their wintering holes. Spots like this are easy to find, and the smallies are usually willing to cooperate even when the water temperature is in a low to mid 40s. There are some locations where the two species cross over, however. The entrance to these weed bays would be a good example. If there's some depth, that's even better.
Got him, he came back for it. Yep, small largemouth. Yep. All right, that was cool, yeah. Look at how fat this thing is. You're not even gonna believe it. Look at how fat this thing is. Look at that, he can't fit any more in his belly, huh? That's good. 10 feet of water, not... Yeah, yeah, he did. Well, he bit it. Yeah, that's a nice little largie. He bit it, and then he ran with it, he dropped it, and I popped it, and he went clunk, and I reeled down, and he dropped it, and I flipped it back in, and he bit it again.
Okay. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Nice largie.
There we go. Oh yeah, nice, nice largie. Oh yeah. Nice, nice largie.
And she sucked the snot out of it. Oh. Again, they're not the giants, Jer. You know, not like what we come here. You start comparing the largemouth bite, although there's a lot of good ones in here.
Interesting, the spot we're getting these, we were fishing a lot of shallower bays and rock points. You just missed one? And this is a big, giant, shallow bay, and there's a little bit of deep water kind of leading into it. And we're fishing in 10 to 13 feet. And we've only made a handful of casts and got a few of these, so.
Oh, there he is. Hey, you! Yeah. Fat boy, you can't get none of this. Look at me. I got moves. I go left, I go right, I go left again. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. Oh, there it is. Psych! I'm so erratic, I don't even know where I'm going. Come on, Chubby Cheeks. Come on, Bucket Mouth. Come get some of this. I can do this all day long. Look at me. Watch this. Come on. Your mama's so fat that she can't get out the fish net. Ow! All right, I'll give you that one.
First one. Oh, big one.
Look at that.
Oh.
And there she is, my first Mercury. 154 stroke, the lightweight heavyweight. And she comes with all this. Say hi to Wendy from customer support. She's always there to help. Jerry from product testing, he dishes out the torture. They can take it. Good. And Tim from design, he never misses a detail, obsessed with quality. Bobby, prop engineer, he turns horsepower into performance. This is George.
It's good to have Mercury behind you. Meet the rest of the team at mercurymarine.com.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
You know, we got spots in here that wind is blowing 30 miles an hour today. I've seen some boats, actually about 6 or 8, no, probably 10 boats today, and they were all tucked back in the corner, where, you know, getting out of the wind, where there was no fish. And when I looked at their trolling motors, I could see why. They were all underpowered, which is amazing to me. Amazing to me. The motors were all underpowered for the size boats they had. They couldn't fish efficiently in this kind of wind. We can get out there, work the smallmouth, we can work the largemouth, we can fish any of the habitat we had. With my Fortrex 101, the batteries that are in this boat, and this is a big boat. My 2017 Lund, or my 2075 Lund's a pretty big boat. And this trolling motor with the batteries that I got will pull me all day long. I can fish 10, 12 hours with no problem. no problem, and pull into 25, 30 mile an hour winds. If there's a big mistake that we consistently see on any of these lakes, for walleye fishermen, crappie fishermen, bass fishermen, it doesn't make a difference. We get these, you see these windy days, everybody tucks out of the wind because they can't get into it. That's the #1 mistake that I see at accesses regularly, underpowering that boat with the trolling motor. Always, always, always put the most powerful troll on you can, and make sure you got the batteries to support it and the battery charger systems to keep it running the way you need to keep it running. I don't know, Jerry, we put an awful lot of time in on some awful good water. You know, the way this lake is laid out for these largemouth, you know, we have not got a good fish. Yeah, you know, I think we ought to just, let's go back out and whack those smallmouth. I mean, they're big, there's a lot of them. It seems to me that's gonna be the deal.
Sign me up.
Sign me up, yeah. This island we pulled on now has got big boulder flats around it that are in and around 5, 6 feet deep. And those fish are spread all over it. Years ago, when side imaging first came on the scene, I came to this lake and spent a long time side imaging all of these islands, and there's bunches of islands on this stuff to find these big boulder flats. And that's the kind of spot that these smallmouths like this time of the year. And we'd get in between these islands like this with side imaging. You shoot off to the side, you'd fight scattered boulders, scattered rock here and there. Side imaging is such an amazing tool, amazing tool. If you don't have a unit that has side imaging on it, it's costing you fish, absolutely costing you fish. Oh, Jerry. Oh, you got one too?
Doubled up.
Oh, look at this,
Doubled
baby,
up.
look at this. Well,
oh, they're dueling. They're going to get tangled.
Look at that. All I see is orange. All I see is orange, man. Look at it.
You got me beat. You got me beat.
I got you beat on that one, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one again. You know, like Jerry was saying, this wasn't quite what we expected. Hang on. It wasn't quite what we expected for a bite. But would you complain catching loads and loads and loads of smallmouth like this? I'm sure you wouldn't complain. We're not complaining either. When you stop and think about what we learned today, with the water temperature the way it is, largemouth fishing was surprisingly tough. Smallmouth fishing, it's lights out. I don't know how many fish we can catch today. We stay on them and keep fishing smallmouth, 50, 60, 70, who knows? We had so many doubles, I guess you would call that a pretty good day. Let's talk a little bit about the power of faith. The Bible defines faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In other words, you're hoping and praying for something good to happen, something that you need in your life. It could be finances, relationship, health issues, whatever. You're hoping and praying for something good to happen that hasn't happened yet. Everything that I read in God's Word, much of what I experienced in life as far as the power of prayer is simply backed by faith, that you know that you believe what you're praying for. And that's the trick. That's the hardest part, because some people have faith to believe for something in their life and the person next to them doesn't. And a lot of times you won't see the same results. Everybody's different. And when it comes to true faith, I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about. You can understand it better. It's a real practical example. My youngest son, Troy, loves to fish tournaments. And every time, the night before a tournament, he calls us, and Mary and I say a prayer with him. Now, through the tournament practice, he talks to me and gives me a nightly update on what he's seen, the patterns he's on, what the rumor mill is there. It's going to take X amount of pounds to win. This is what I'm catching. I think this is what it'll take to cash a check, or I got a chance at winning, whatever. He shares all of this. And being somebody that understands fishing extensively, I can relate to what he's talking about and read what the bite would be like. Now, my wife doesn't fish at all. and she has no understanding of the details of what he's talking about. She actually believes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, in every tournament that he goes into, he can win it. She believes this, absolutely believes this. She's convinced, and she prays for a win and the biggest fish of the tournament, and it's coming out of her heart. Well, after a lot of years of doing this, I almost know too much. My natural man comes in, and I know that when I'm praying, I might say the right words for him, but I don't mean it from my heart. I know that he can't win this tournament. I know that at best he'll have to catch this bag of fish and he'll cash a check. I know about where he'll be. I'll say the words, but they're not backed with that powerful prayer. When Mary says a prayer, he always does good. It's been amazing to me. You think I'm kidding you? You talk to him. He starts cashing a check. He's in the top 10. He's won. It goes on. It's got to the point where he says to me, Dad, I don't want you to pray. I want Ma to pray. And here I'm somebody standing by the sidelines in this, reinforcing it all. But that gives you an example of what I'm talking about. Everybody has a different belief level. Your faith can rise up in one area over something. It could be health, healing. In this case, I'm giving a very practical thing that happens in our life on a regular basis. Prayer is a powerful thing when it's backed with the faith to believe the words you're saying. That's what really moves God and creates what we commonly refer to as a miracle. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, have a good safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.